What is going on, everybody? It's Alex. I'm back here in another video. And today, y'all know what time it is. It's round 2 of 4 of this mock draft. So if you guys like this episode, feel free to join the fam, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. And of course, look down in the description if you guys want to contribute a little bit more. We've got a great Discord down there, and you can always talk with me on Twitter, Discord, etc. You guys know where it's at. But for this round, number 33, we got the Lions, and they've been gifted a really good set of players here. You can go offensive line if you want to guard. You can go Nakobe Dean. You can even go another wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, Brisker, as well as even Carson Strong and Desmond Ridder. So you have a pretty damn solid base to go wherever the hell you want. But it's pretty obvious the guy who shouldn't even be on the board right now is Nakobe Dean. His size might be the reason he does fall a little bit. 6 foot 225. He's a blitzer, as well as a really good coverage linebacker. But it's just a team like Detroit that desperately needs linebacker help can absolutely find a role for somebody as good as Nakobe Dean. We saw last year with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he fell quite a bit. Obviously, his size makes it a little bit interesting to find an actual role for him. Nakobe's a lot shorter, so he's not that same type of lanky build, but that weight still could be a concern. This is a team where I would just throw those concerns out the window and take the best player available, Nakobe Dean. I know you guys like that pick as well, so very happy to hear that. 34 for the Texans. So we look at the overall board right now, and you could go Darian Kennard here as well. If you want to move Tyus Howard to right tackle, you could actually get Darian Kennard to play right guard. That's not a terrible idea, and I don't think that would be something I'd be against. That being said, Desmond Ridder's on the board. I don't know why you guys don't like Desmond Ridder on your team. I know Davis Mills has been a big success story compared to what we all thought because he had only played like 11 games in college, some crazy shit like that. But regardless, I think Desmond Ridder should still be an option. Jahan Dotson's on the table as well. He's my wide receiver 7, if I'm not mistaken. Call me crazy. I do like a lot of receivers in this class. Mainly the only reason that he's there is because of Wan'Dale, but that's just because I'm a big fan of him. Regardless, I think a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson could be a major asset to a team like the Texans. And Wan'Dale, just to let you guys know behind the scenes, he's my number 36 player in the draft at the moment. I just think that his versatility is ridiculous. I think he might go above a guy like Jahan Dotson. I know a lot of people like Jahan, and I like him as well. He's a mid-second to me. And if you take him here, that's easily worth it. But I think you should also look at a guy like Trent McDuffie, Martin Emerson, all guys who have very, very, very good impact on their roster. So honestly, I think with wide receivers still being a big issue, you trade for Anthony Miller, that didn't work. Jahan Dotson's a perfect fit for this team. You do have, I would much rather go after a guy like Wan'Dale later, but I don't think he escapes this round. And it's pretty realistic to go after Jahan Dotson before Wan'Dale Robinson. So out of respect for realism, we're going to be doing that. Jahan Dotson out of Penn State going to the Texans. 35 for the Jaguars. So this is between edge, because there's some really good ones on the board, as well as you can even look at wide receiver. I don't think the class is that great. And safety, because Jaquan Brisker is on the board. I think that'd be a phenomenal selection. Just to be honest with you guys, we have to do what I did for the first pick for the Jaguars, and that is look at what happens if we don't select Jaquan, right? Obviously, he's going to go soon. So we pass on him. There is a small chance that Lewis Cine is there. That's a very small chance he might be there in the 3rd round. I don't think it's going to happen. You have teams like the Vikings that could use somebody. The Eagles, Lewis Cine's definitely on y'all's radar as well. Nick Cross, I don't know his weight. That's another guy I've heard that has some crazy upside. I know Broshmo likes Nick Cross quite a bit, which we're going to be doing a 3-round mock this coming up week. So be excited for that. So if you pass on Jaquan, there's a good chance that your next best guy is going to be Nick Cross. If you pass on edge, there's a good chance that you're still able to get a guy like Zion Tupuola-Fatui, Sam Williams, Boye Mafe, all dudes I have a lot of respect for and I like quite a bit. And that's the low, right? I'm saying ZTF in the 3rd. Like that's a low. We could see Guys like Nick Bonito, Arnold Ebiketie, even being Arnold's not going to be there, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I think the value is best at safety. And Jaquan Brisker is going to be a nasty enforcer. Just going to add a little bit more juice to this defense. And to be honest, I was expecting this defense to take a huge leap this year. Fortunately, they did not. Of course, losing your former first-round pick in CJ Henderson wasn't a great start. But Jaquan Brisker finally bringing back some oomph to the Jaguars. He's a really good prospect. It's hard to see him going in the first. But without Jalen Catalon, because he now said he returned, I think that the value of these safeties is going to shoot up tremendously. Now I'm going to start thinking Bro McKinley is going to be back in, just because, again, you have there's no real competition for a true free right now. He is the only true free left on the board. Daxton Hill's a slot corner. He's only played slot corner snaps. Lewis Signs a strong safety. I think Petrie might be. I need to scout him more in depth, but he might be somebody who's a hybrid safety out of Baylor. I do know he's good, but like you have nobody who's a true free in this class besides Bro McKinley. Just got to put that out there. But the Jets are sitting here. A right tackle is still a need. And Nicholas Petit-Frere is on the board. You can play him at right. You can play him at left because I know Mekhi Becton has had quite a few injuries. I'm not that big of a fan of Nicholas. If you throw out the Michigan and Penn State games, you're on track to get a top 15 selection. Of course, those do exist, right? That tape does definitely exist. Something that scares the living hell out of me. You could go after Max Mitchell in round 3 if he falls to that point, but we also need to look at the edge group. Again, that is your opportunity cost. You lose out on Ferrari, you're probably going to get Max Mitchell next round. And actually, hold up. They adjusted the next round. Wow. I just realized that. I was like, wow, this is different. The Jets do not have the pick over here. Like, it's great. Washington football team is not messing up. God bless TDN for finally getting their head and ass wired together. Got to give him some credit right there. You could still get Trent McDuffie on this team, and I think that would be a pretty badass selection. You do definitely need corner as well. I think that getting a guy like Max Mitchell later on would be a good option. Pass rusher. It's also good value right now. I have all these guys really tight together. My next guy is Jermaine Johnson, Arnold Ebiketie. Just letting you guys know. I love both of them. I honestly think Trent McDuffie's value is a little bit too good to pass on, though. He is a really, really high-end corner out of Washington. Excellent bailout. He's going to be great for cover 3, cover 4, where you're not going to be pressing, or a cover 2 press man. Those are his ideal fits. And this team, if I'm not mistaken, runs a cover 3. So with his bailout, like all Washington corners have, it is excellent. It's a perfect fit for the squad. I have Kyler Gordon above him, but again, that is not scheme dependent. As like that's the only problem with rankings is like, well, if you're looking for a slot corner, you're not going to be factoring these guys, right? If you're looking for somebody who's better in zone, you might not look at someone like Darion Kendrick, who is more of a man corner. There's a lot of variability here that we can go in depth with, but for this team, Trent McDuffie should be higher than Kyler Gordon. But he's an amazing prospect out of realism. Got to select him right there. Really good player. I have him as a mid to late second. Just, again, not that big of a fan of him unless he's in the right scheme. 37, goddamn. New York Giants. I could see this being Desi. I really could. It could definitely be Desmond Ridder. Wide receiver makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. So I'd throw that out. Linebacker definitely should be on the radar, though. However, I am a big fan of this dude, Chad Mumma. I had no idea who the hell he was. I hear Broshmo talk about this Mumma guy. I'm like, who is this? I watched him last week. Holy crap. He is crazy good. He's obviously not worth an early 2. He's an early 3 for me, but watch out. This guy's the real deal. He's crazy good. Brandon Smith at 73 on TDN's rankings. Forget about it. He's definitely in consideration for here. Christian Harris as well. Both solid linebackers. They have their definite downsides, but I would not count them out. I think when I was saying like going 2 offensive linemen back to back in the first was unrealistic, I do not think it's unrealistic to go offensive line, defensive line, offensive line. I really don't. So for that, I know the guard spot with Shane Lemieux has been pretty much a disaster. The center as well, but unfortunately, the one center that is amazing in this draft is already gone. Darian Kennard's still on the board. He's a big ass dude, a mauler, excellent value, excellent value. For a team like the Jets, we could have went that way, but we've already gotten their guard slash center replacement. So I think that's fine. We're going to go Darian Kennard here. I used to go in the top 10 for him. That was when I was seeing some major progression from him, and I still got to give him that credit. He's still worth a fringe first. Just he didn't continue to progress. That's something I didn't like. By the way, the Bears would have drafted Kennard next anyways, is like a guarantee for me, but they're on the board. I think wide receiver could have been a really good option if we had guys like George Pickens on the board. Just not the case anymore. You do need a boundary wide receiver. Fortunately, you're going to have to look in free agency for that. I cannot find anybody in here that I'd want to take. Justin Ross in the 4th round might be the best option for you, just for the value. But offensive line, corner, those are 2 huge positions of need. Again, Ferrari's here, and that might be the selection, but I will say that they've gone for a more big-ass lineman approach. So guys like Daniel Faalele would be probably a little bit more favored in this case. So that's where I'm at right now. You can go Ferrari here. I mean, I think the left guard spot's going to be more of an issue for the Bears than anything because James Daniels is leaving, and that's a big ass asset to this offensive line. So maybe getting a guard tackle hybrid would be a good idea. So Sean Ryan, who is a true left tackle, can slot in a left guard and play very well. I was on record as saying Sean Ryan could be, I obviously jokingly over-exaggerated, Hall of Fame level guard. He's not going to be Hall of Fame level guard. Sean Ryan is worth a mid-first as a guard. He is an absolute monstrosity. Him and Tevin Jenkins next to each other, who Tevin Jenkins was the guy I was saying, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer if he is a guard. They would work perfectly together. If you want to switch him to right side, absolutely. I think that's worth the upside. I'm going to go Sean Ryan. He is, I think, he's my left guard too. Pretty sure about that. But still, he's a beast. I love Sean Ryan. Just he didn't take that progression step this year at tackle. You can still use him as a tackle and then guard hybrid. Just you got to watch out for that. Now with the Jets, this is where I think I might go Ferrari anyways. Faalele, another guy who I think you want to get a big ass dude. It's where you get him. But Ferrari is somebody who has played multiple years at left and right tackle. He, apart from going up against Arnold Ebiketie and Aiden Hutchinson, has been extremely consistently solid. Now, he was like in that mid-first territory, but after that, I think that he's been falling to about a proper range. And we're going to take him here. Edge, again, could be another really good spot to go. But we went 2 defense and now 2 offensive players. And building up the offensive line is really, really, really good for the future of the franchise, especially when you get a value like Ferrari. So at number 40, you got the Seahawks. And there's some great edges on the board. I'm ready to pull the trigger on a guy like Jermaine Johnson or Arnold Ebiketie for this team. But there's somebody I actually want to bring into the fray. That's Bernard Raymond. This guy 2 years ago was a tight end. And right now, according to PFF, he is the best tackle at left in the entire nation. When I watched him against even LSU, I'm pretty sure it was LSU. Yeah, against LSU, this guy handled out like SEC competition like it was nothing. Coming from Central Michigan, his form is extremely solid. He's around the same level as Daniel Faalele to me, but that's because Daniel has insane upside. Both these guys are brand new. Obviously, one plays right, one plays left. You need to get a true left tackle. Bernard Raymond's going to get some hype as well. He's going to do very well at the Senior Bowl. He's going to go right here. You need to get some help on this offensive line, and the depth of this class is not nearly as good as some might say. After the 2nd to 3rd round, I'm not sure I like many of these guys, if any, besides maybe Abina Eze, Kellen Dyche. I'm not even a big fan of those guys. But Bernard Raymond needs to be that selection. We had a little bit of a run in offensive line, but I mean, that's far from impossible given the teams that are sitting here. For the Dolphins, interesting. So obviously, I'm not going to look anywhere towards defensive side right at the moment. Edge, you could go for a guy like Drake Jackson on the outside. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. Have him as a stand-up outside linebacker because that's like the one position you do need. To be fair, we could get Christian Harris for this team. That'd be quite fun. Because wide receiver is something that you could look for. David Bell, certainly on my radar at this point, because he'd be a really good combo to Jalen Waddle. We got offensive line. We're gonna do it. We're gonna go linebacker. You guys do need a linebacker pretty badly. I'm gonna be watching Darian Beavers a little bit later. I've seen a bit of his tape, just not in depth the way I've seen a lot of these players. Darian Beavers, he's not probably going to be above a guy like Brandon Smith to me. Just gonna be honest here. But Christian Harris feels like he fits with the Dolphins a lot more than a guy like Brandon Smith. And of course, the Eagles don't even need a guy like Brandon Smith. So it's great that we have some change up in where guys are going. But for the Eagles, offensive line could be someplace that we do go. I just think that the value has just dropped off ever since we just eliminated all the guys who are kind of fringe ones. And that means I want to look at safety. You got Lewis Cine on the board. You got Verone McKinley on the board. I think that the kid that we took out of Clemson a couple years ago might have a little bit of a future at free. Lewis Cine might be the best way to go at this point. So we need to watch out for that. Wide receiver wise, again, I do kind of want to add another weapon to this team. I think that would be a really good option for us. John Mechie wouldn't be a bad option. David Bell could be a really solid pairing right there. I'm a huge fan of Wandale. I don't know if you really want to go with that at the moment, though. He's a little bit too gadgety for me. And I think given the lack of talent in this safety class, you need to go with the best. So going after a guy like Lewis Cine might very well be the best thing you can do. If we pass on him, there is not another solid safety worth the selection within the first 3 rounds. You're going to be picking up for scraps when Anthony Harris is gone. And we all know that safety matters a lot more than what we think. Positional value wise, obviously nowhere close to a corner 2 or something like that. But given the rest of the needs, this is by far the craziest need for them. And you got a team right behind them in the Vikings that could definitely be looking very sharply at a guy like Lewis Cine. Number 43, you got Martin Emerson on the board as well. We could definitely take Martin Emerson to this team. However, I think free safety is going to be a huge, huge hole for this team. Verone McKinley could be everywhere. I mean, Broshmel thinks he's a little bit more like, what's his name? Andre Sisco. I disagree. I do like Verone McKinley's talent from what I've seen so far. It's either him or a corner. And I do think that some of these corners down the line could provide excellent value. So we're going to go with it. Verone McKinley out of Oregon. I know you guys have been a fan of that in the past, and we're sticking to it. Number 44 with the Saints. This is where we go Desi. I think I did this last time as well. The value is good enough. It's a 2nd round pick. Blow it on a quarterback. If it fails, it fails. You don't know how long Jameis Winston's going to want to stay with you, for one. We don't even know if he's going to stay past this year. That could definitely change everything up, but it's a great spot for him. He's a really talented quarterback, and he can bring this team to really great places, especially with that offensive line they have now with another receiver. If I'm not mistaken, that was Chris Olave that we added to the team. It might have been Garrett Wilson. It was Garrett Wilson. Even better, right? Keeps him in the shorter range for Desi not to overthrow the ball. But very good upside. I know some of you guys really like that pick. It's not in the first round. You can take it. It's okay. At number 45, this is where Martin Emerson's going. So sorry, Niners fans. Las Vegas is going to be getting a lockdown corner. Martin Emerson. We've seen how great a guy like Casey Hayward could be on the squad. And you need Martin Emerson for that. He's a beast. I love him. At 46, you got Daxton Hill on the board. I know that there's a team that needs a slot safety to move up here. Honestly, I think it would be great because I don't really see a team in here taking an edge that threatens the Falcons. So we're having the Broncos move up again. It's just one of those drafts where the Broncos move up twice. I don't purposely try to move up. We also have an extra 2nd in here. So, hey-o. Yeah, that's from the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. So we have that drafting power to be able to move up. And we're going to send a 5th round pick with this. We can see a 5th and a 7th. Whoa, crazy value right there. To move up to select one of the nastiest slot safeties in this draft, Daxton Hill. You need a slot corner desperately. Callahan probably not going to return. So getting the value of a Daxton Hill, when there are teams, you could even look at the Bengals as a team that would want to go for it. I know Troy Hill, if I'm not mistaken, is the slot corner for the Browns, and he's not getting any younger. So a guy like Daxton Hill could be a nice lucrative target there. There are guys who would also want to move up. Washington, they desperately need a slot corner as well. Even a team like the Niners could move up for a slot corner. Bottom line, slot corner is a legit need. For the Steelers, I've actually done this a couple times now, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick to it. Kyler Gordon's a ridiculous freak of nature out of Washington. I think he comes out this draft. He's a redshirt junior, and he's proven enough to me. He's a freak athlete. I have him as my corner 6. I think it was right behind Roger McCreary. The guy's a beast. I love him. I think he fits exactly what the Steelers are looking for. I'm praying to God the Steelers value that corner position because they're going to need to. Bengals on the board, another team that would have taken Kyler Gordon. Even more reason for the Steelers to take him. I know that bottom line, they weren't going to take him just because we went corner first round. But with Kyrie Elam, that's a beast. He's a beast too. Regardless, we do still need to look at offensive line. That being said, Daniel Faalele is not going to do the job that you're trying to hope for him to do. We still might go for him, but a guy like Max Mitchell might be the better option. Just my personal opinion. He might be a better option in the next round. Just because Daniel Faalele is a beast. I have him in the second, but he doesn't fit what the drafting philosophy of the Bengals has been. Super raw as well. So I think a team that could take a shot on him and potentially bust it out might be the best team to do it. So unfortunately, we're not going to do that for the Bengals at this point. Interior offensive line, I think that they're set with the guard situation. I really do. Tyler Smith, somebody who I absolutely love. I have him as an early 3 as well. We're going to see his name pop up possibly in this round, if not the next. You guys need to watch him. He's a fun tackle. But you could look at the interior defensive line here. Devontae Wyatt's still there. Tight end wise, Trey McBride's on the board. And I know this isn't a flashy pick, but he is the best tight end in college by far. Excellent route runner. He's a really good addition to this team where you're losing 2 of your tight ends. I'm actually doing the Bengals mock right now. So Bengals fans, check it out this weekend. Of course, I was starting it out and then got interrupted. So have to re-record that. Love it. But Trey McBride, absolute steal at this point. He is truly the tight end 1 in this class. I just don't think with how good the tight end class is, it's going to be that much of a need, and he's not going to be drafted that highly. 49 with the Browns. This is a team that could use a guy like Arnold Ebiketie. I love Jermaine Johnson, by the way. These guys are all in my top 35. Like, it's not like I'm hating on these dudes. Just that's the way the draft falls. Arnold Ebiketie might be this pick. Jermaine Johnson's so good, though. He's so good. All these guys are all so good. We might just go that route because I know they need help in the interior defensive line. We could go with a guy like Devontae Wyatt here, but I think the value is too good. Arnold Ebiketie is a guy I love sending to the Browns, and I think that's where I'm going to go. He is because I think I have not actually sent Christian Brandon Smith out yet. Arnold Ebiketie is more attractive to watch than Brandon Smith as well as Jaquan Brisker. I love Arnold Ebiketie. Big fan of him. Of course, that leaves the Falcons on the board, and we know where I'm going. Drake Jackson, perfect fit for this team. Excellent upside. I have him, I think, is my edge 8. And I think he's being taken as like edge 9, right? Or like edge 9 right here. Excellent value. I love it. It's just you're getting the guys fall all the time in the draft, and you get to scoop them up. So cheers. 51 with Washington. This could be a time to go after an offensive lineman. I know you guys don't like that. I don't get it. You can always fortify the offensive line. It's not like a sin to do it. But, I mean, you guys did literally last year in the second round. Still, safety with a free safety could be something you need to go after. There you go. That's what happens when you lose Jalen Catalan. You lose out on that safety room. So it's unfortunate. That's the way it is. But you still could use a slot safety. Tyke Smith, even though he has injuries, could definitely be up there. Not going to do that for you guys. I think offensive line might be the best move, or trading back, because there are guys on the board like Daniel Faalele, Zion Johnson, Devontae Wyatt, of course, these edge players that are freaking phenomenal. Darion Kendrick as well. Really, really good corner 1. And honestly, I could see them trading a very short distance with a team like the Niners who might want to hop the Colts. That's a possibility right there. But the edges are so good that it might just be worth it to trade back with a team. Ooh, I have actually a team I really want to move up right now, and I think I'm going to do it. Chargers are sitting there, and I think they went with Andrew Booth in the first. I think it's time. It's time for the Chargers to make another splash play. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. It's a small trade back. Jeez, there's so many 7th-round picks. So we're going to offer one of our 6 as well as one of these 7s. I don't think that it would be fair to have to trade a 5 and a 7 to then just trade a 6th to move up. So they're going to be moving up here. They need help on the offensive line, right guard, right tackle. Edge definitely could be this pick. Definitely. But I think the value of Daniel Faalele might be too good. He is absolutely freaking dominant as a right tackle. He is so young to the game. You can actually perfect him. You have a guy like Brian Bulaga there. Stick Daniel Faalele at guard for the time being and teach him how to play right tackle. Yes, he's 6'9", 380 pounds. Absolute monster. Yeah, a team like the Colts should definitely take a shot on a guy like that. Unfortunately, he is no longer on the board. So this could be wide receiver with David Bell, John Mechie, or this could be Darion Kendrick. I think the value of Darion Kendrick compared to a guy like, no disrespect to Kobe Bryant, but a guy like Kobe Bryant is a big drop off for NFL talent. No disrespect again to Kobe because he will be in that 3rd round. I think I'm going to go Darion Kendrick here. Might not fit exactly what you're looking for, but as long as he stays with a gun out of his lap, he's going to be perfectly fine. It's a big need here. You desperately need it. So select it. Niners with no corners, worth it on the board. You guys need an edge too because D Ford is not worth it. Also, he's never healthy. Jermaine Johnson is an absolute monster. I love him. Absolutely love him. And he's going to be able to step in day one and provide such a high level of talent. Former Georgia Bulldog as well. This guy is taking his game to another level. I love him. 54. This could be Devontae Wyatt for sure. We could look in the cornerback room, but I think I'd like to go with a guy like John. Actually, no, John Mechie tore his ACL. That's a little bit painful. Actually, Wan'Dale Robinson would be fun as hell on this team. He would be. We could go for a guy like Zach Charbonnet. I don't think that he goes right here, but dude, Wan'Dale Robinson might be the most fun option. If you guys haven't seen Wan'Dale Robinson, he's an absolute freak. I love him like 100%. I think we go with a little bit more of a less flashy pick. Devontae Wyatt is here, and he's probably the 2nd best D tackle, like true D tackle on the board, because we don't know what DeMarvin Leal is. Yeah, I think I would select him. He might be more talented than Jordan Davis, just a little bit smaller. Now, Washington's back on the board. Again, this is a team that could use a slot corner. Marcus Jones is here, and he plays at a very high level. Would not be against that. Of course, I think Brandon Smith might not be a bad option either. It'd be quite fun to have him. I just thinking out loud, it would be not too terrible to have a guy with that type of speed with obviously your former 1st-round pick. That would be a really good option. Honestly, we're going to do it. Best player available. Brandon Smith out of Penn State. Yeah, I mean, he could play safety if you really want him to as well. But, I mean, he is crazy athletic and the upside is ridiculous. So select him. Also takes him away from the Broncos because that was probably going to be my pick for him. I think that probably would have been the right move. But, hey, we got Daxton Hill. That's a good start. But now we can look at edge because I'm pretty sure Myjai Sanders is going to be this pick. Or we can look at tackle, or we can draft Chad Mumma. We could do one of those 3. I think Myjai Sanders is a little bit too good a value right now. He has shown some very high level NFL upside. So I'm going to take him right here to replace Von Miller's absence. 57 with the Ravens. I think that we could go for kind of like a meaty D tackle like Travis Jones here. I love him, by the way. Really good player. But I honestly might wait till the next round for a guy like Zachary Carter, who is like an edge interior hybrid at his weight. He plays edge, but I'm assuming they're going to move him inside because he's 285 pounds. We could see another edge go off the board. I don't think that's the case. You could look at a corner, just the value's not good enough. Wide receiver, tight end. I could see a tight end, to be honest. Like a guy like Jalen Weidemeyer, Jeremy Ruckert, probably could be it. You know what? Let's throw like a little new thing into this mock. Let's go Jeremy Ruckert here. They loved Max Williams for so long, and you have a really good option in Mark Andrews. Go Jeremy Ruckert to have your new Max Williams. He has a lot of upside as well. Definitely somebody worth taking around this part. I have him as like a mid-third, and well, it fits perfectly. So I'd be far from mad to see a guy like Rooker go at this point of the draft. 58 for the Chiefs. I think that wide receiver like David Bell would be perfect. And no, I did not purposely push David Bell down for the Chiefs. I didn't. Even if people who wanted David Bell before would say that, I did not. I did not even realize the Chiefs were in need of a wide receiver like David Bell until I get that pick. 59 for the good old Cowboys. This could be a spot for Wan'Dale Robinson or John Mechie. I love Wan'Dale to this team. He's so fun. He's a really fun option. And given Cedric Wilson's not going to be a long-term answer, even though he's been playing very well, Wan'Dale might be really fun to add. And I think his ability as like a true gadget weapon might be perfect to replace. Obviously, John Mechie would be worth more than Wan'Dale if he did not have an ACL tear. He just got it. That's going to hurt quite a bit of his stock. So, ouch. We could go offensive line, though. We could. Zion Johnson's here. Actually, he played left tackle, too, for a while. We're going to go Zion Johnson. Also, that would have been the next pick as well. I think Zion Johnson would have been a great fit here. Zion Johnson, he's going to be perfect fit for where you're replacing Connor Williams, and his experience at left tackle is perfect to succeed Tyron Smith. 60 with the Cards. Fortunately, we cannot get you Zion Johnson. We could get Fair. We could. That wouldn't be a terrible option. I think a guy like Tyler Smith would be really fun, though. So we'll keep our eyes out for that. I think edge is the best value right now. We've done this before. Nick Bonito as that outside linebacker rushing in. I think it's perfect. He was pretty much a consensus first rounder. Just didn't take a step up this year, and that's why he's here. 61 with the Falcons. We could get a guy like Mechie at this point. Wan'Dale Robinson wouldn't be a bad option either. Given how Cordero Patterson has been absolutely phenomenal on this roster as a wide receiver running back hybrid, now full-time running back, I think Wan'Dale might be a really unique move that no one's seen. Let's have some fun. Wan'Dale Robinson here. I love his ability as a running back as well. You know, he could be taking the reins from a guy like Cordero Patterson, who's aging a lot. Mike Davis is not going to be the answer for the long term. Wan'Dale probably isn't either, but I love his ability, like what they're trying to do with the Travis Etienne right now in Jacksonville when he's healthy. You can use him as a wide receiver running back hybrid, and he is dynamic as all get go. I would get the ball in this dude's hands in a heartbeat and I'd be scared shitless. So Wan'Dale Robinson going to be right here for the good old Falcons. 62 Bucks. Honestly, if I saw Zion Johnson still on the board, I would definitely take him here. This team, we're just going to go for the best player available. And actually, I'm going to do it. Chad Mumma out of Wyoming. The future at linebacker is not set yet. You have two linebackers that are there right now that are really worth their salt. And I think a guy like Chad Mumma would be phenomenal. I love Chad Mumma. He's going to be one of these unique guys. I could have even seen him going next to the Patriots. He's going to rise up draft boards because this dude, I'm pretty sure he's going to go to the Senior Bowl as well. He's going to test out of his mind. He's amazing in coverage too. So a team like the Bucks would certainly love that. 63 for the Patriots. Honestly, we could get a guy like John Mechie. That would not be bad. I think we might do it still. John Mechie at Alabama. You're going the Saban Belichick connection. Going to get Mac Jones, one of his former trusty wide receivers. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be fine. And Mechie, I don't think he's had much of injury history in the past. He just had a fluke injury now. 64 for the good old Green Bay Packers to end off the round. We still have Carson Strong on the board, so a team could move up for him. It might be the Lions again, but ooh. We're actually having a team move up. Because to be fair, edge-wise, I think you can definitely get your value by moving down. Interior defensive line, Travis Jones is the only guy who I'd probably draft at this point. Perrion Winfrey could be fun. But offensive tackle is pretty barren for the short term. Because, again, Max Mitchell's here. Certainly worth the pick. But Jackson Kirkland might be a little more fun for that. But still, you look at it, I'm having a team move up, and that team is one that you're not expecting. It's the New York Giants. So Yeah, the New York Giants are going to be moving up. I haven't done this before. So New York Giants are going to be moving up for a quarterback. They took Zap in the last round, or in my last mock in the 4th. But you know what? They're going to be moving up here. We're going to send a 5th through along with the next year's 7. And we'll do a next year 5 just to make it more fair. We're going to send 2 5ths through to be able to move up. What is that? It's like 6 spots. I don't even know the math here. Yeah, 6 spots. Of course, I'm in business analytics. I should know math. For Carson Strong, he's had injury problems, but we all know DJ is not actually the true option. It's a late 2nd round pick. You're using 2 5ths. Like you're losing 2 5ths for it. Test it out, see what happens. I really don't think that that would be a bad option at all. You test it out. If he fails, he fails. It's a freaking 2nd round pick, dude. It's actually more of a 3rd round pick, but let me know what you guys think. Want to end it off on a really hot note, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.